In 2021, I had just finished this triathlon, and my husband Skylar and I went to dinner with my parents, and we sat down at the dinner table, and I am completely exhausted and like falling asleep. And there was a lull in the conversation at one point, and my mother suddenly leans forward and squeezes a lemon that she had just taken out of her purse because Kathy McCann says that she does not trust restaurants to pick the right lemons like she can at the grocery store. So she squeezes her lemon into her Diet Coke, and she says to us, "There is a lot of drama going on in the quilting community right now, especially the Australians." And then my 75-year-old mother sat back in her seat and took a sip of her Diet Coke, and all of us, my dad and my husband and I, were like, "What?" And my husband said to her, "Well, go on." And so for the next 2 hours, this woman dished the best gossip we had ever heard in our entire life. She was telling us about competitions where quilting groups had cheated. She was telling us about which groups get along with other groups. My mother has been in her quilting group, which is called Common Threads, for 40 years, and these women are ride or die for each other. If you insulted one of these women, the rest of them ride at dawn. Okay, like that's the kind of situation that, and so. And this her quilting group is harder to get into than the Illuminati, by the way, so don't even ask. And so when we left dinner that night, we get in the car, and as soon as the car door shuts, my husband turned to me and he said, "You have to write a book about this." And I was like, "About quilting, about quilters?" And he was like, "You need to write a novel about elderly quilters, the competitive world of elderly quilting. It would be so funny and so interesting." And I was like, "I don't even know what that story would be like." And so he's like, "Well, let's come up with a story." So we go home. We ended up staying up until like 1 o'clock in the morning, which is insane because, again, I was so exhausted. And we mapped out like this story and like some of the characters and what it might be. And at the end of that, I was like, "Oh, this would be kind of a funny book. Like I would read this book." But I sat on it for several months because I was like, I don't know if I actually want to like go through the process of writing an entire book about this. After several months, I just kept like nagging at me. And so one day I sat down and I was like, I'm going to try and write the first chapter. So I write the first chapter. It's like a couple thousand words. And I go and I hand it to my husband. And I'm like, "Will you read this and just tell me like if I should keep going or if this is not a good idea?" So he's like, "Sure." So he takes it into another room and he sits down so he can read it in silence. And when he finishes reading it, he comes into the room and his eyes like have tears in them. And he says to me, and I swear to God, this is true. He says to me, the first chapter made me laugh out loud and made me cry twice. You have to finish this book." And that was all the cheerleading that I needed. So then I spent the next year going to my mother's quilting group, which is amazing that they let me in because, again, the Illuminati, going to my mother's quilting group for research purposes and writing the rest of this novel. And I ended up writing a book about a group of elderly quilters that is quite dysfunctional, and they are preparing for a competition against their bitter rivals. And in part of preparing for this competition, they end up inviting two young gay men to join their quilting group, and they try to teach them how to quilt. I am so happy with how this book turned out. It's called Stitched. It comes out on September 8th of this year. I have linked it in my bio. You can already pre-order it like basically everywhere you like to pre-order books, but it's in my link tree in my bio if you want to go find it. I think it's the best thing that I've ever written. Truly, I'm so proud of how it turned out. It took me a long time and a lot of drafts and a lot of pain with the publisher going back and forth and trying to figure out how we wanted to this story to go. I am so excited to do lots of fun events coming this fall around this book, but please go and check it out. Somebody wrote a blurb on the back and described it as 1 part Schitt's Creek and 1 part Golden Girls. And that was the best damn review I could have gotten for this thing.